Hello folks, welcome to another video that I'm being helped in with the chat, and that is rebuilding for the EXILEVERSE, and this week we're doing a really difficult one, Iron Warriors. I've just said to the chat then that Iron Warriors could be the easiest or the hardest one we've done so far, the hardest rebuild we've done so far. Why? Because I really like the Iron Warriors, and I don't think they need to be changed that much. I don't know. Chat, what do you reckon? Do they need to be changed that much? I saw somebody in the chat before saying that they shouldn't fall to chaos. I've got no real bugbear either way, right? In this, to be honest with you. Like, I honestly think that the Iron Warriors are okay as they are, but that wouldn't make for a good episode. So, let's jump in. I've not written down any questions because I was at a bit of a loss this week. I was kind of going over it and what we were going to do and how we were going to tackle the Iron Warriors. I think it's much easier to rebuild something that's terrible. You know, Fulgrim's Fall to Chaos, for instance. Not a very good piece of lore. Very easy to get your teeth stuck into that. Iron Warriors, not so much, because everyone loves the Iron Warriors, or you should do, if you've got taste and you're a man of culture. So, I think the first question we should ask, before we go anywhere, right, is where is Perturabo found? Why did he go to Olympia? What was on Olympia? Remember, we start every single episode like this. The Emperor sent the Primarchs out into the galaxy to conquer certain worlds ahead of time. So Erda isn't a thing in our EXILEVERSE. She's ridiculous and stupid, right? So nobody scatters the Primarchs across the galaxy. The Emperor sends them out. He creates them as babies and sends them out to seed them on important worlds that he needs conquering very quickly. So why is Perturabo sent to Olympia? Oh yeah, close the dinner poll. I'm having a burger apparently later. Sorry folks, if you're watching on YouTube. Titan Forge, says Matthias. That's a... Oh, no, yeah, I think that's a good idea. That is not a bad idea. Michigan Yankee says Knifear Portal. Yeah, Eldar Portal. Okay. Yeah, if you want Perturabo to be a Siege Master, that should tie in. Again, it's all about trying to figure out where Perturabo's weaknesses are. The one thing I love about Perturabo is he's probably the most human of the Primarchs. And he's kind of a reflection of what wargamers are. Like, and I don't mean... I am a wargamer, do you know what I mean? So I'm not trying to, like, cast shade on anybody or anything. But Games Workshop are actually really good at doing a commentary on who their fans are. I always bring up the Red Scorpions for this, because they brought out a Forge World only chapter, and they were, you know, incredibly expensive, and only Forge World fans could get their hands on them, right? But what are the chapter like? Well, they're elitists, they're snobs, they get all the best and most expensive war gear for seemingly no reason, right? And they're obsessed with purity, and we have the best stuff, you don't, ha ha ha, right? If that's not a commentary on who Forge World fans are, I don't know what is. I think Perturabo being such a bitter person, and also being a wargamer, and he is literally a wargamer, right? We see it in Angel Exterminatus with Fulgrim. I think that's a really good commentary on the wider 40k fan base, which is why I want to keep it in. Board says, to secure the Master Craftsman of the world, okay? The most advanced fortress world in the galaxy, yeah, okay. Minor Forge. They can make a bunch of siege weaponry. Crow says, I always liked that Magnus and Perturabo always got on, considering how different their temperaments were. I love that, yeah. But they're both thinkers, though. Problem solvers, aren't they? It's just Perturabo's thoughts are geared towards... How do I put this? They're geared towards real-life solutions. They're geared towards fixing things and building things, whereas Magnus is more esoteric, right? Olympia could be the centre of architecture and specific STCs, in which he could help create newer designs. That's cool, I like that. Give Perturabo some meaningful motivation to fall to chaos, other than just daddy issues, says Prez. That's a good idea as well. I'm not sure STC needs to be brought in, because... then again, if we're going to bring an STC in, a standard template construct, I think Perturabo's the guy we need to do it with. Okay. First poll. Is there an STC on Olympia? First poll question. Is there a standard template construct on Olympia? That doesn't need to be the whole reason why Perturabo was sent there, but it is a reason why he's sent there. There's one of the reasons why he's sent there. Tom says Olympia can be a fortress world taken over by orcs. Perturabo sent to understand their tech and break them out. The planet is located in a strategically important location too. Oh. Maybe the STC is a new type of armor. Good wings of steel. Yeah, I like it. I like Tom's idea there, though. I like Tom's idea. So what Tom's saying is that Olympia should be like a linchpin world. It should be a world that's basically holding an entire sector of space together. I like that idea. I think that's cool. Sword says, Perturabo could still have a fascination with Old Knight and the Cybernetic Revolt, looking for evidence of the conflict without really knowing what the events are. That's interesting, yeah. Yeah, the Men of Iron, right? Dude! I've solved it. Solved it. I think we've rattled it. I think we've got it. So, there is an STC. We've ended that poll. There is an STC. Right, cool. I'm thinking we can meld all of these ideas together, which is what we do, right? All I'm here to do is vector your ideas into a workable whole, is what I'm doing. So, we're going to have Olympia is actually a human civilization that is constantly under siege by orcs. They're literally in an orc empire. They're the only human civilization in an orc empire. That's why there are massive fortress cities all over the place on Olympia, right? Perturabo sent down there by the Emperor to basically lead the planet because there is an STC and Men of Iron on the planet. Right? There are Men of Iron on the planet. These guys from Old Knight, they are literally on the planet, deep down in vaults, right? Within the core of the Earth. They're down there. And he's got to go there and secure them so they don't come out and start wrecking shit all over the place, right? We could even have the STC be a standard of Imperial armor. That'd be pretty cool, right? Maybe Terminators aren't a thing until Perturabo's found. And the Terminator, the actual Terminator warsuit comes from this STC. You know what I mean? I think that combines everybody's stuff nicely. So, Olympia attacked by orcs. Men of Iron at planet's core. STC is Terminator. Are we happy with that? So, I've put Olympia is constantly attacked by orcs. That's why it's so fortified. The Men of Iron, or at least some Men of Iron, are deep down in the planet's core, right? And they are never to be disturbed. We need the Emperor's like, no. We need someone to lock that shit down. That needs locking down. And the STC is Terminator armor. So there's no Terminator armor in the Imperium until Perturabo gets found, essentially, right? Cataphracti Terminator armor. Yes, why not? Cataphracti Terminator armor. Yes, no problem. His Iron Circle could be, instead of automatons, men of iron, subjugated by Perturabo and controlled through the Logos armor. Love it. Absolutely love it, Sword Brother, yeah. Why don't we make Perturabo's armor the original Terminator plate? The Logos armor. It's the original Cataphracti Terminator plate. It's huge. And it allows him to reach out and control technologies around him, right? Wouldn't that be cool? Why don't we do that? Yeah. The Iron Circle are men of iron. Subjugated by Perturabo. He's the only one who can control them. Right, we're at 95%, so I think we can end that poll there. I think we've done well. So, that's what we've done. That's brilliant. I like that. Really good ideas. Really, really good ideas. So we've changed something. So Olympia is a world besieged by orcs. Constantly. Which is why the cities are so fortified in mountains. Men of iron are locked in prisons at the core of the world. Perturabo sent to Olympia to lead the people in safeguarding this threat. And STC on Olympia also leads to the construction of Terminator plate, of which Perturabo possesses the first. The Logos armor, with which he can control tech and subjugate men of iron. Dude, that's awesome. The main thing of what we do here is we do stuff like this. I love it. Absolutely brilliant. Alright, moving on. So, we fixed that part of the law. We didn't need to, but somehow we did. We fixed that part of the law. I'm very, very, very happy. That makes him so dangerous. It does. It does. More power for Perturabo, though. He is Chad. He is awesome. I love Perturabo. He's the best, right? So, do we keep Perturabo's personality intact? Now, the reason why I'm saying we could, and I think we should, is because Perturabo, he's a jailer. He's the Emperor's jailer. Right? That's what he does. He goes and captures things. That's what he's good at. He's sent against technological threats. And he goes and changes them and takes them back to the Emperor. And he's really good at breaking down fortifications and things like that, right? That's why he's so good at it. One, his entire homeworld is built around that. Yeah? And number two, well, most of the conflicts he goes into are grinding attritional conflicts against technologically advanced species that don't want to submit to the Emperor's Great Crusade, right? But do we keep his personality the same? I think we probably should, because I think him being the jailer and needing to remain on Olympia for so long makes him isolationist. It makes him kind of xenophobic. He doesn't really get along with people. Not a people person, right? Yeah, I don't think we're going to ask a question about that one. I don't think we want a happy Perturabo, do we? We want a bitter Perturabo. Yeah? It could do, Matthew, yeah. So he says, could it also specifically allow Terminators to teleport? Yeah, it could do. The STC could do. Could do. Yeah, Perturabo captures tech and technological threats to stick them in the dark cells. Yeah, I think we're going with that, yeah. Tom says, I would keep the same, but I would like to see more about his hopes and dreams. I'd like him to be a keen scholar and lecturer. He loves explaining things to people and teaching lessons. But this gets quite toxic. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So Perty remains bitter, but is a scholar of technology and a keen teacher. This also leads him to thinking he knows better than everyone else. Because most of the time he does. Most of the time he does. He is the Emperor's jailer. Breaking advanced civilizations. In grinding attrition warfare. And sending them to the Dark Cells or to Mars. Excellent. Okay. So we've kind of got Perturabo's personality figured out there, right? Where do we put him on the... I think he should be kind of early in the Crusade, so I'm thinking we're going to go with 5th. So Perturabo's found 5th, right? We kind of got to do that because people need Terminator armor. So Perty is the 5th Primarch found by the Emperor. Alright. So, Matthew says, I'd say he is an avid teacher with an incredibly short fuse and quick to violence. He has little time for those who cannot comprehend his ideas quickly enough. Yeah. Ulfith says, less shut up and more listen here, this is how it's done. Yeah. JJ says, he is the Emperor's arrogance incarnate. Why can't... Maybe he can be the Emperor's arrogance in thinking he can control everything incarnate. Because the Emperor is so arrogant, I think he has different levels of arrogance. So maybe that's what it is. He thinks he can control everything. Right? Ooh, JJ says 6th after Vulcan, so Vulcan's forges are set up for creating the armor. Yeah. I don't mind that. Okay, Vulcan is 5th. Don't mind that at all. Let him be yeah, let him be Praetorian of Terror instead of Dawn, says Perturabo 84. Yeah, I'm not sure we're doing that one. I'm not sure we're doing that. Do you know what? I'll tell you what. We've kind of set up what Perturabo's doing in the Great Crusade, right? He's going on these attritional conflicts, these brutal bits of warfare. He's really segregated himself away from his brothers because he's the one who has to keep the Men of Iron in check. Yeah? He needs to keep going back to Olympia. So his first conquest is smashing the orcs around his home system, but he needs to keep going back to Olympia to make sure that the wards are sealing the Men of Iron in place. Yeah? But we need to decide two things, because we pretty much, unlike fulgrim, Perturabo doesn't have like seven or 8, you know... I know he kills his sister and goes home and Olympia rebels and things. So he's got certain tangents that he goes on to define his character. But unlike fulgrim, there aren't really any keystone moments where we go, oh, if that was different, maybe it could be this, you know? So we've kind of got what he does in the Great Crusade out the way. So we don't really need to look at what the Iron Warriors do. We're not changing the Legion, because we think the Legion's cool, right? But we need to decide two things. Okay, number one, do the Iron Warriors fall to chaos? And number two, if not, is Perturabo Praetorian of Dawn? I'll let you guys vote on that one, right? Dogboon says, North, if they have a Terminator SDC, A, where are the pre-existing Terminator armors? And B, why is the Terminator armor so scarce and able to be created any longer? I think 40k answers that, right? Heretic, you know, it's heretical. We've forgotten all of these things, you know what I mean? It just, the passage of time, you know what I mean? Alright, people saying, heretical says yes, I assume he means keep him traitor. No, please don't, says JJ. Positive Geekery says, make it in the law that he was meant to be Praetorian, but the Emperor changed his mind when Dawn came along, making him justified when bitter. That's cool. Ulfa says no, Renegade for life. Minding Bat says, what if the whole Legion went rogue, but not to Chaos? Ooh. I think they need to go Renegade. A lot of people are saying Renegade, not Chaos. Right? I'll tell you what we'll do. We'll vote on it now. Okay. What is the current status? Status of the Iron Warriors. Alright. Loyal. Traitor. Renegade. There you go. Voting's up. What is the current status of the Iron Warriors? Once we've answered this question, we can then start to build out what we think and then how it happened. Yeah? Perty is too stubborn and proud to be controlled by chaos, says JJ. Good, yeah. Giving the finger to everybody in their pocket empires across the galaxy, says Ulfith, yeah. Stringed B says, chaos is change, remember? Perturabo would never. Dude, that is why I don't think he should be a demon prince. If they bring Perturabo back as a demon prince, I'm gonna be pissed. Like he shouldn't be a demon prince. Absolutely not. He doesn't like change. Like, this is Perturabo we're talking about. God damn it. Faust says, let's give a gut punch to Valeric and make the Iron Warriors the Praetorians. Yeah, I kind of really want to now. I'm not on his Christmas list at the moment, but yeah, I imagine that would annoy him. Wanton says, depends if siding with Men of Iron counts as traitor or renegade. Rosario says, but he doesn't know it's Vashtor. Ooh! So maybe the Men of Iron are actually disciples of Vashtor. Positive Geekery says he's a mercenary, will hire out siege specialist for resources. That's cool. Yeah, I like that. I like that. Wanton says, I'm going with Renegade under the caveat that it's him being convinced to side with the very Men of Iron he swore to contain and purge loyalists and traitors alike. Oh! Okay, we're ending that poll. Renegade has won 67%. Or 66%. Renegade has won. So, how is Perturabo leading the Iron Warriors into being renegades? I think a lot of you have already come out and said that Perturabo is going to side. He's so logical that he's like an AI. He's like a human version of an AI that's decided that to protect all life, we need to get rid of humanity, right? So he sides with the Men of Iron. He looks at his inner circle, like, you know, his iron circle, and he's like, you guys are the only ones who understand me. And they're just standing there silent, and he goes, yeah, I know. You know, that kind of thing. Like, just talks to them all the time. Nobody really gets him. And so he sides with the Men of Iron. He starts to commune with them and understand their point. that humanity is a disease and needs wiping out. It needs to go, right? The flesh is weak. Ha ha ha, right? The flesh is weak. And maybe, I've got an idea here that Ferrus Manus and Perturabo are like the only two Primarchs that get along in terms of Perturabo. Like, Perturabo gets along with Magnus, yes, but he really gets along with Ferrus Manus. Because they're very similar-minded, right? And the ironic thing about the Iron Hands being, you know, flesh is weak and all that, is that that was Perturabo's modus operandi. And it's the one thing that Ferrus Manus didn't go along with him with. He was like, no, humans have their place, you know? But Perturabo's ruthless. Absolutely ruthless. Because he doesn't see humanity as actually having any real worth whatsoever, and they're not worth saving. Perturabo's the person who, when you say, is this world even worth saving, he says no. No. The Men of Iron had a point. They had a point. And the Trident just worries whilst listening to this. I like the, Matthew says, I like the human AI idea. He is like a walking avatar of Skynet. Yeah, yeah. He's basically 40k Skynet. So Perturabo's kind of like Cybermen-esque. Yeah, I mean, yeah. Yeah, I don't really like Doctor Who, but yeah, sure, why not? He leads, Michigan Yankee says, he leads the Dark Admech to resurrect the Men of Iron. Order above all else, says Matthias. Even humanity. Yes, maybe he sees the Emperor as an agent of chaos. What I mean by that is, he doesn't think the Emperor's fallen to chaos, because that would be silly. But he says, no, you're just as bad as they are. You're just as bad. You're creating war and famine and terrible things across the galaxy. Humanity shouldn't inherit the stars because they're not worthy of it. They shouldn't have it. I like that. I like that. Okay, so Perty becomes Renegade in Horus Heresy as he comes around to the Men of Iron and their need to destroy humanity to end chaos. Perty hates Emperor as a hypocrite and a destroyer. And also hates chaos. So does not like Horus either. Thinks Horus is a puppet. So, Perturabo becomes Renegade in the Horus Heresy as he comes around to the Men of Iron and their need to destroy humanity to end chaos. Perturabo hates the Emperor as a hypocrite and a destroyer. And also hates chaos, so does not like Horus either. He thinks Horus is a bit of a puppet. Alright. Alrighty. The Emperor is an agent of change, and Perturabo sees change as inherently chaotic. Yes! Yep. Crow Post. Brilliant suggestion. That is exactly what Perturabo is, yes. Absolutely. Absolutely. So, if he's a renegade, is he at the Siege of Terra? Okay. Is Renegade, Perty, and Iron Warriors at Siege of Terra? Right, are Renegade, Perty, and Iron Warriors at Siege of Terror? Now, the reason why I asked that question, it may seem like a silly question, because of course he is, right? He's there. But he's a Renegade. He's a Renegade. So if he's going to be at the Siege of Terror, the end of the Horus Heresy, we need to come up with a reason for him being there. Yeah? So I've got another opinion on this. I don't think he should be at the Siege of Terror. Do you know where I think he should be? Mars. Mars. I think he's on Mars. Thank you. For cheers, Wings of Steel, for the £5, man. Thank you very much. What a guy. Thank you. I think he's on Mars. And I think it's Perturabo who kills Ferrus Manus. I think we take that away from fulgrim. I think Perturabo goes to Mars to take all of their technology. To basically just take it all. But this is mine now. He leads the Men of Iron there with his legion. And he fights the Iron Hands. And the Iron Hands... We're going to give them a win, you know. Maybe we can give them a win. You know? I don't know. But Perturabo should kill Ferrus Manus, and the Iron Hands should be able to just about stave off the Iron Warriors in time. That's what I'm thinking. That's what I'm thinking. Because as much as I like the fact that, you know, Fulgrim's tragic fall, he gets to kill Ferrus Manus, I think it works better as a thing. Because remember, we didn't kill Ferrus Manus in our last episode, did we? We kept him alive, and Vulcan died on Eastvan 3. Mainly because we got rid of perpetuals. So getting rid of perpetuals meant that Vulcan died, which I really like. I like that. It all fits in together. It's like poetry. It rhymes, right? Yeah. Yeah. So here we go. We've got to change things around here, okay? Let me put this on first. Let me put this on first. Iron Warriors versus Iron Hands on Mars. Are we happy with that? So the ending of the Horus Heresy for the Iron Warriors is Iron Warriors against Iron Hands, full legions that are left on Mars, fighting over the technology that's there. So he's not, Perturabo isn't at the Siege of Terror, but he is there indirectly. He's indirectly helping Horus's cause by going after Mars, right? The lore of the Void Dragon Shard? Yeah, maybe. Wanton says, maybe his assault on Mars is what forces Horus to act by lowering the shields on his ship. Yeah. Could be. Now, I've got a very controversial thing that's going to come up in a sec. And it involves Rogel Dawn, but not in the way you think. Not in the way you think. Yeah, on Messiah, yeah. How about the Iron Warriors help the Dark Mechanicus to get off Mars and help themselves to the tech? Yeah, could be doing that, yeah. The Battle of Iron, yes, indeed. Oh, does Perturabo lobotomize Iron Warrior legionaries and stuff AI cores into their bodies? Maybe he does for his inner circle. So it's like his elite first company are all one AI. they're all one AI that's subservient to Perturabo. All right, so we're going with Iron Warriors versus Iron Hands on Mars, and we're happy with that. Alright, that's happening. So, Ferrus Manus is killed by Perturabo on Mars. Tragic. Right? He's killed by Perturabo on Mars. But his legion holds off the Iron Warriors for long enough that the Ultramarines arrive, in the system, and Perturabo takes the Dark Mechanicum and gets them off of Mars, gets loads of tech to take with him. So the Iron Hands get their win, right? That they are the only people to ever survive an attack by the Iron Warriors. But Perturabo gets his Primarch kill and gets away with the tech that he came to claim. Right? Now, so again, Flaming Neko, we're about to come on to that. We need to revisit Fulgrim. Because Fulgrim was supposed to kill Ferrus Manus on Terra in the EXILEVERSE. Remember? Last week, Fulgrim killed Ferrus Manus on Terra, and he couldn't. The only way he could do it was by submitting to the demon inside of him. Yeah? Cool. So who is killed by Fulgrim if it's not Ferrus Manus? And I think it should be the Khan. I was going to go with Dawn, but I think Dawn is too important to the siege, and if he died, the siege would be over, right? So I don't think it's Dawn. I think it's the Khan. I think Fulgrim kills the Khan. Oh, everyone's saying Dawn. What? Okay, alright. Let's vote. Alright. Who does Fulgrim kill when he becomes a demon prince? Dawn. The Khan. Neiman Russ. Sanguinius. No, it's not going to be Sanguinius. Don't think so. Who else is down there? Dawn, the Khan, Lehman Russ, and I think that's it, isn't it? Yeah, that's it. That's all we have. Okay. Go. So, who does Fulgrim kill on in the Siege of Terra to become a demon prince? Is it Dawn? Is it the Khan? Or is it Lehman Russ? Graham von Karstein. Somebody said Korax. Well, Korax isn't there. Korax isn't there. His legion shattered, remember? Oh, Lehman Russ is winning the vote. I'm surprised. I thought it'd be Dawn. So with the Khan, him and Fulgrim have snipped back at each other back and forth, and the legions are quite similar. That's why I went with the Khan. And also the Khan doesn't really do much in modern 40k either, So killing him off might be a, But I will go with what you guys want to do. Dawn has got 31% of the vote so far. Lehman Russ 41. So I will end it once we get to. I'll leave that open for a few minutes because this is a big one. This is a biggie. Who does Fulgrim kill when he becomes a demon prince on Terra? John Grammaticus. Yeah, well, John Grammaticus is not in the EXILEVERSE, so we don't need to kill him off. We're good. Flumberkin, killing off Russ would remove the silly solo duel with Horus. Yeah, it would do. It would do. Russ, because Thor got killed by Jormungandr the snake. Yeah. Yeah, okay. You can change your Dawn vote to Rush, yeah. I think you can just click on another name and it'll work that way. Thumb Birkin says, on the other hand, not killing off the Khan makes him able to do more in the EXILEVERSE. That's true. That's true. Very true. I can't believe you're killing off Leman Russ. I did not see this coming. On my to-do list today, killing off Leman Russ was not on there. Not right now, anyway. Yeah, I mean, I will need to explain why it's Leman Russ who dies. But I think, actually, it kind of works. It does kind of work. So, remember when you said before that we don't have to do that silly duel between Horus and Leman Russ? I think we do. I think we do. I think Leman Russ has to atone for something. And I think Leman Russ needs to leave Terra to go and seek glory for himself and kill Horus. He ignores the advice of the Emperor and he ignores the advice of Malcador. He disobeys. And he tries to get the glory for himself. And he fails, right? He fails. And not only that, a lot of his legion die in the process. So to atone for that, Leman Russ is actually one of the frontline guardians, you know, of the Imperial Palace. He's there with Sanguinius, fighting back-to-back almost, right? And when he goes up against Fulgrim, he beats Fulgrim's ass. He literally beats Fulgrim's ass. Fulgrim cannot get near this dude. And so he gives in to the demon, he becomes a demon prince, and he strikes down Leman Russ. Right? And we can have Leman Russ's last stand being... Oh, I've got it. Right, okay, I'm going to end the vote there. So Leman Russ is dead, folks. We've killed off Leman Russ. So Leman Russ basically comes back to the siege as it's going on, right? Just as they're breaking into the central complex of the Imperial Palace. And he sends his wolves in and says, I'm holding this area. You guys go. Right? So maybe a quarter of the Legion gets inside the Imperial Palace whilst Russ holds off the Chaos Forces, such as his might. He's surrounded and he knows he's dead. He's already dead at this point. So he's fighting without fear, without anything, and he beats Fulgrim's ass. Fulgrim becomes a demon to beat him and kills him. That's what happens. Alright. Okay. Wow. Okay. So. Perty fights best friend Ferrus Manus on Mars for the tech there and slays him. Racked by guilt, but dedicated to his cause. Pulls back with most tech on Mars when the Ultramarines arrive. Okay. Alright. So, what do we do with Perturabo after the Horus Heresy? What do we do? What do we do with him? What do we do? So I'm thinking he's gonna stay. I would like to make the Iron Warriors not go into the Eye of Terror. I think the Iron Warriors have no need to go into the Eye of Terror because they've got the Men of Iron. They've got complete control over most technologies that they come across. They are a legion that's unbroken, right? They are 100,000 Marines strong. They have the Men of Iron. They have a massive fleet. You know? Durdu says the Men of Iron rebel. Ooh. Haha. Ferris doesn't die. Perty uses his brother as a servo skull and keeps him around. Yeah, we could do that. JJ says he seeks to close the Eye of Terror so he can drain the Emperor. That'd be cool. Yeah. A prison break from the Dark Cells would make the siege more intense. Ancient tech horrors captured by Perturabo, unleashed in the mayhem, attacking both sides. Yeah, cool. We can do that. That works. That works. I honestly think, like, I know somebody said an empire there, creates his own fiefdom, creates his own empire. I honestly think it works better if they're a wandering fleet. Because he sees no need for worlds. It's the flesh is weak, right? He likes metal, he likes iron, he likes being on a ship. I think it makes more sense for them to be this roaming, piratical band of, you know, AI augmented biomechanical monsters and power armor. I think that makes it... I think what we're going to do, right? First things first. Is Perturabo a demon prince? I really don't want him to be, but I'm going to... Again, this is your thing. I'm the vector for your ideas. So is Perty a demon prince in the 40k setting as we're going forwards? Yeah, mechanical pirate fleet. Yeah, I think that's what we're going with. The reason why I don't think he should be a demon is because I think Perturabo is monstrous just the way he is. I think being a demon at very best would be a side grade to Perturabo. He's already functionally immortal because he can transfer his consciousness into other bodies, you know, using technology. That's doable, right? He doesn't want to because his body's awesome. It's a Primarch body, but there you go. He doesn't need to be a demon. He sees no reason to be a demon. He doesn't like chaos. You know? And basically anybody who messes with technology has to fear the Iron Warriors coming over the nearest hill, sort of a thing. Do you know what I mean? I think Perturabo is broken and monstrous and powerful just the way he is. Put him in a dreadnought, but big. We could do that, yeah. Maybe his Logos armor is so advanced, he can install himself in a dreadnought if he wants. And he can get out as well. I've had a really good idea. Bear with me. And don't answer the poll yet. Do we give Perty dementia? You heard me right. Do we give him dementia? Now, the reason why he did this, you know he says the flesh is weak all the time, but what if the human parts of his brain are breaking down and he's becoming more and more and more erratic as time goes on? And it's haunting him. And it's his main thing. It's haunting him. Like the human parts of his body, right, are betraying him. He's losing his mind. It's sort of like cyberpsychosis, right? In Cyberpunk. he's becoming more of a machine. He's losing his identity. He's losing his sense of self-determination. He's becoming a man of iron, and he's doubting himself. He's like, I don't want this. He's losing his mind. He's losing his memories. He's getting memories in his head that aren't his. And he's starting to actually lose what makes him human. And he's starting to just reevaluate and go, hang on a minute. Hang on a minute. If I lose my self-determination, if I lose who I am, why am I scared of not being a human anymore? It makes him more human. It makes him more of a character. He's not just a big evil dude in Terminator plate. Right? He's losing his mind. He's becoming less than what he was. He's losing his mind to the machine in a form of technological dementia. Eventually. Bear in mind, he's been around for 10,000 years. He's not been in the warp, remember. So he's literally aged 10,000 years, where nobody else has. Remember the lion ages? You know? So Perturabo's been going for 10,000 years. And he hasn't taken any shortcuts. And because he hasn't taken any shortcuts, he starts to lose his mind. It starts to break down. And he is obsessed with transferring his mind to a perfect body that's not going to degrade on him. Because his brain's dying. His brain is literally dying. It can't take any more augmentation, things like that. Durdu says he could turn himself into a hive mind, his personality breaking into different fragments. Yeah, again, what if him dominating all his technology strips away some of his mental acuity every single time he does it? Yeah. He's losing himself to the machine. He's starting to fade away, and it haunts him. Because at his core, it reminds him, Perturabo, you may be powerful, you may be all-conquering, but you're still human at your core. And it drives him mental. It drives him insane. Right? It drives him insane. Maybe that was the Men of Iron's plan. Yeah, Crow. Maybe. That was the long game they were playing. Yeah. Wanton says, I like the idea. In the end, the Men of Iron still see him as human and thus are paying for their goals. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, Positive Geekery, why not go the Doc Ock route? He started off controlling the AI, but now it's controlling him. Yeah. Yep. Matthew says, perhaps over time his control of the hive mind first company leads them to breaking ranks and trying to control of the Legion, which is now more of a machine. Yeah. Alright. We end with that. It's a sad note. Perty, in 40k, has been alive and fighting for more tech for 10,000 years. As he dominates more tech, his mind starts to break down, reminding him he is human and haunting him. He develops a kind of technological dementia. Scary stuff. Right, so that is the fate of Perturabo. So let me read out what we did. Again, this was never going to be a really long episode because there's not as much here to fix as there was for the Emperor's Children and others. But so, what we have, Olympia is a world besieged constantly by orcs, which is why their cities are so fortified in mountain ranges. The Men of Iron are locked in prisons at the core of the world. Perturabo was sent to Olympia by the Emperor as a child to lead the people in safeguarding this threat away from the galaxy. A standard template construct on Olympia also leads to the construction of Terminator Plate, of which Perturabo possesses the very first one, the Logos Army. With which he can control tech and subjugate the Men of Iron. Perturabo remains bitter, but is a scholar of technology and a keen teacher, This also leads him to thinking he knows better than everybody else, because most of the time, he does. He is the Emperor's jailer, breaking advanced civilizations and grinding attrition warfare and sending them to the Dark Cells or to Mars. Perturabo is the 6th Primarch to be found by the Emperor, Vulcan is the 5th. Perturabo becomes Renegade in the Horus Heresy as he comes around to the Men of Iron's way of thinking and their need to destroy humanity to end chaos. Perturabo hates the Emperor as a hypocrite and a destroyer of worlds, and also hates chaos, so does not like Horus either. He thinks Horus is their puppet. Perturabo is best friends with Ferrus Manus, and they strike up quite a good friendship, but he ends up having to fight Ferrus Manus on Mars for the tech there and slays him during the height of the Horus Heresy and the Siege of Terror. He is racked by guilt by this, but is dedicated to his cause, so sees it as a necessary evil. He pulls back with most of the tech on Mars when the Ultramarines arrive to liberate Terra. Perturabo in Warhammer 40,000 has been alive and fighting for more tech for over 10,000 years. As he dominates more tech, his mind starts to break down, reminding him he is human at his core, and this haunts him. He develops a kind of technological dementia, slowly losing himself, and is obsessed with finding a cure for his ailing brain. Scary stuff. And that is Perturabo. We have Dudes, I don't know how... Again, I know I do this too. I'm helping in this. But I don't know how you've done this week. You know? This was great. This was great. You know? This was likely the plan of the Men of Iron all along, as they see Perty as human and part of the problem, ultimately. Okay, so that is Perturabo. We have done Perturabo, dudes. I'm flabbergasted that we've managed to actually add to one of the best Primarchs. Perturabo as a Primarch is great. But I'm going to go with JJ here. We changed so much more than I thought we could, and I think it's better for it. I do. I honestly do. I think this went really, really well. So good stuff. And if you're watching on YouTube, next week we will be doing Jakatai Khan, and who nearly died today, by the way. Jakatai Khan, we nearly killed him off. Next week we will be doing the Khan, and we will be doing the White Scars, Legion 5. I think, is it not? Space Marine Legions. Let's have a look. I think it is. Of course they're out of order. Piss off. Can't stand that. Okay. Yeah, White Scars next week. It is White Scars next week. So, we're going to go with that. This is the first Primarch next week, and Legion that is completely loyalist. So, you know, because even the Dark Angels were half traitor. So, I will see you next week on YouTube, and I'll be sticking around on stream for a little while longer now. So, love you a long time. Speak to you soon. Say bye, chat. We'll see you next time.